Good evening, everyone. I'm just getting set up here for our live Prismacolor color pencil demo. And I want to see what I'm telling you and showing you before I get started. Okay. Just wait a moment. I don't know what the weather is like in your parts of Alaska, but it's pretty crazy rainy here. If you hear our roof rain, that's what it's, roof rain, I guess. Our metal roof.
Our roof sound?
Our roof sound, yeah. It's pretty invigorating. So several of you said that you would appreciate a live demo on Prismacolor pencils because I've really promoted Prismacolors, especially with our coloring book, and we're going to have these for sale at the Vintage Market on Saturday and Sunday. So several of you said you'd be interested in seeing what they're like and how I use them before purchasing them. And so I'm going to do a demo. I don't know how many people will tune in. I know several of you said maybe a different day works best, but we have to set up at the market tomorrow, so I wasn't sure how available I would be, but I wanted you to have the chance at seeing the Prismacolors in view, in action. Sorry, I'm having screen difficulties, so I can't even see myself.
I was just seeing if there was any comments.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so on the agenda, and I promised to be as calming as Bob Ross. I don't know if that's possible, but I'll try. So on the agenda tonight, I wanted to show you kind of the Prismacolor difference and why I use those versus any other colored pencil brands. I'm going to show you some different size options, like I guess the amount they come in, and what those look like. I'm going to show you some simple colored pencil techniques and colored pencil facts, and some tools, some cool Prismacolor tools out there that I use, some more than others, and then kind of how I go about my routine of using colored pencils, because I think colored pencils, sometimes I prefer them over watercolors when I don't feel like making a huge mess, and they're kind of great that way because they're a dry medium. And then I'm going to show you one specific technique that I use in all my pieces, and that's burnishing. Before we get started, I kind of wanted to give a shout out to Mez Pottery. This is my 24-ounce mug I found out after I consumed half a pot of coffee one day, and I was like, I wonder how much I drink, and so it's like 24 ounces. Mez Pottery, and what is her name, hon? Marta, and Dima, Mr. Mozy of the Cozy Mozy. I don't know what to say. The Cozy Mozy. I don't know if anyone knows your name. Dima went to high school with her, and she's been at the Alaska Chicks Vintage Market. I know she was at like several Girdwood fairs. She makes amazing pottery. So Mez Pottery, M-E-Z. Check her out. I don't know if she'll be at the Vintage Market this weekend, but one of our Vintage Market neighbor at the last market was Spunky Monkey, and she makes candles and some really awesome wooden signs. This is her blueberry cheesecake candle. It's absolutely amazing. She makes the soy wax and the candles themselves. She does all of her product labeling, and then she always uses recycled jars and wine glasses. I know my cafe at my school, I run the school cafe, we donated, I think, like, I don't know, 16 bottles, syrup bottles for her to use. She repurposes them, and I'm all about that. So she will be there at the Vintage Market on, oh, hi Sarah, thanks for joining in. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be thorough and read comments as they come up. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. But this is the best smelling candle I've ever, it's amazing. And I have one like burning in the bathroom. So if you want to check out Spunky Monkey, awesome lady, and she's a local artist. She'll be here this weekend. So let's go ahead and talk about colored pencils. What I'll be selling at the Vintage Market is the pack of 24. The pack of 24 I think is a great starter pack because they have plenty of colors. What I personally use right now is a mix between the pack of 48 and I have a pack of 132 going on. And I'll show you those and the differences. I think the pack of 24 is perfect to start out at. They do have a pack of 12, but I think that's like boring and worthless. but you could still do something cool with it. Since I'm not opening a pack of 24 right now, I have like a hodgepodge mix going on. I did open, I spent like an hour looking through because there's so many different shades of greens, and I'm going to see if I don't drop all of these. So this is what a pack of 24 looks like. And so that's what I'm going to use tonight. I'm not going to use my pack of 132. I hate when people demo something and it's like the super expensive starter pack, but not really a starter pack. So that is what comes in the pack of 24. There might be a pack of 36. I think after the package of 24, what I've purchased is 48, so double the amount. They always show colors on the back. They have a pack of 72. What I'm currently using is a pack of 132. I purchased this while I was a freshman or a sophomore in college, but they were so expensive that I didn't have the guts to use them until last year. And I'm going to show you what it looks like on the inside, because I'm not a clean artist all the time. I'll show you that. And then I recently purchased a pack of 150. I think this is the most they make. And I wish I would have purchased this whenever I purchased the pack of 132, but I don't think it existed yet because I'm not really great with working with the trays that come inside of them. And the trays are fine for the pack of 24. It comes with like 2 little side-by-side trays, and I think you can stay organized. But once you get to the huge tin, it had like 7 trays of color. I know. And so what I did, can you show them? This is what my current situation looks like when I'm coloring. That's pretty bad. Can you see that? It's lagging on here, so yeah. So it's just a mess. But what I do is I have like this 3-jar system going on, just so you can see how I work and my thought process. So I'm currently working on 2 succulent darlings. My goal is to have 2 for sale at the vintage market on Saturday. And so you guys saw the finished one. It's the finished succulent darling. This one has already sold, and so I promised several of you I'm going to try to have 2 done. So you can see I'm currently working on... Sorry. Hi Nastia, thanks for joining in. So I'm currently... Oh, Camila! Aw. Camila was one of my very first art students. She's a sweetheart. Oops. There you go. And she owns 4 of my darlings, which she's a collector. Touches my heart. These are 2 succulent darlings I'm working on right now. And so you can see my plan of attack is usually to use 1 set of colors before I move on to the next. And so my 3-jar system that I have going on, this was the first darling I did that was like a natural redhead. I have 1 jar of my browns and reds, like my rustic oranges, and then I have 1 for all my succulent colors. And so I have like 7 or 8 different greens. So I have 1 where I put all of my colored pencils that I'm currently working on, and then I have my pencil shaving, my fancy pencil shaving glass. And this is where I put all my pencil shavings while I work, and then child labor, my 4-year-old comes around and his job is to throw them away. And he enjoys it. Hey Aurora, thanks for joining in. And so I will tell you my biggest pet peeve, and I don't let my students use this, I don't let my students use electric pencil sharpeners. My sophomore year of college, I had a professor that forced us to go and buy an electric pencil sharpener and use that for our colored pencils. And as a broke college student who spent, I think my first pack was this pack of 24, I spent $48 on these. I was not going to use an electric pencil sharpener. Number 1, I hate the sound it makes. And number 2, it just devours the pencil. And so you'll always see me with a little cup of pencil shavings, and I will use a handheld pencil sharpener. These pencils have a really soft wood, and so if your pencil sharpener starts to break the wood of the pencil, that's a defect in your pencil sharpener. That means you've either used it too much, it's broken, you need to ditch it. It's usually not a defect in the Prismas themselves because they're absolutely amazing. And so I actually just ordered a Prismacolor pencil sharpener that should be coming in that will kind of be a little more durable for my purposes because some of these have been starting to affect my pencils. So let's see, what else was I going to tell you guys? So at the market, I'm going to have these for sale with a coloring book. And again, my coloring book bundle with colored pencils. It's $16 for the book. If you were to buy these from Michael's or Joann's, you're looking at around $45, $48 for a pack of 24. With my coloring book, I'm selling these and the pack of 24 for $40. So that's only $24, half the price of if you were to go to Michael's. So some of you are interested. I would recommend taking advantage of that deal this weekend. In fact, those of you that end up purchasing Prismacolors, whether it's from me or from any store, let me know if you would appreciate another video in the following weeks and kind of a demo to do like with one another, and I can run through the coloring book with you. Sometimes it's nice to have a side-by-side demo or practice. And we're going to get started in just a minute, but I want to show you a couple of other tools. So this I actually purchased from Target. Not all of it is for colored pencils. Some of it is for markers, Prismacolor markers, which is another really great quality item. But I don't do too much marker work. So this, oh, sorry. This was about, I don't know, between $15 and $17. The real reason I purchased it was for the colorless blender, which I'll demonstrate. The colorless blender you have to purchase, I think, separately. But you can buy them usually from a store if they have like the whole set of colored pencils. You can usually buy these separately or online somewhere. And so here's a colorless blender, and it's basically a clear colored pencil. And so you don't have to use as much of your colored pencil. And then the real reason I bought this pack, though, was this little tube. Reminds me of the fancy like Cruella de Vil cigarettes. I just thought those were really cool. Anyway, this extends pencils. So if you're going to spend between $1 and $2 per colored pencil, you want to be able to use every little bit of it. So this is my little nubby white Prismacolor pencil. And so all you do is kind of put it down in the hole and tighten it up. And so you can still sharpen this. It extends it to a full rate. Yeah, so I really like that. Thank you, Tiffany. I was pretty excited. This is Target purchase right here. Let's go ahead and get started. Can you angle my paper? Pretty please. Just adjusting real quick so I can show you how to draw. I'm waiting for mine to catch up. Well, I want to see what I'm seeing. Okay, so again, Crayolas they're not the devil. You can totally buy Crayolas. I think if you don't want to make the splurge on Prismacolors, you're not ready to make that commitment, Crayolas are fine. This is what I use with my students, and they still create brilliant pieces of work. But let's talk about the differences between them and a typical graphite pencil. So I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence, but I just want to talk about a few things real quick. The only thing that colored pencils and graphite pencils have in common are that they're in pencil form. Graphite is a completely different material than colored pencils. So if you run out of black colored pencil, or if you run out of white, or you don't have a gray colored pencil, don't think that graphite is going to be a good substitution for a colored pencil. It's going to really muddy your work. It's a completely different material. They don't blend well at all. So kind of touch on that. So then Crayola, tell you, I usually pass around a couple of colored pencils for my students to see whenever I go over the colored pencil unit. And I just pass around one Prismacolor pencil so they can see the difference if their parents want to work their way up to kind of splurging on this. And I think it is a good investment, especially if you really get into colored pencil. My screen just keeps going down.
There's more thunder right there.
Thank you, Tiffany. I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence, but I don't want to assume anything either. And there's some things I didn't realize until I kind of purchased Prismacolors. So Crayolas are nice, and they're known for being pretty rich in color. They have tons of different color options. I would say that if you're going to a grocery store like Fred Meyer or Target, and if they don't have Prismacolors, I would say I would buy Crayola over anything. Some of like the Crazy Art, or I don't know, some of the crazy brands that are inexpensive. Maybe it looks like a bright color, and once you start coloring with it, you'll see that the brilliance doesn't quite, I don't know, compute into the actual pigment form. So Crayola colored pencils, again, they're nice and bold, but they have a real, colored pencils are a mix between wax and a pigment. And I would say Crayola either has more wax in them than Prismacolors, or it's a harder wax, because Prismacolors, you can press, it really, they kind of save your wrist. You don't have to press as hard, and you're able to really build layers with your colored pencils. And so before we get started, I have 2 circles here. I hope you guys can see them once I start coloring them. Dima, please just check on that. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I think, the biggest difference between colored pencil and graphite. So I have a circle drawn here, and I'll quickly, sloppily shade it into a sphere, and I know I'm doing this upside down. Once we get to, I'm going to draw or partially color a mermaid tonight. Once we get to the mermaid, I will color her upside down for you guys, so she's right side up. But the biggest difference between graphite and colored pencil is that graphite, you're just dealing with a value range. So if I were to color this sphere and say I want a warm colored sphere, if I were thinking like graphite, all I would have to worry about is my value. So I'm going to press really hard around the edges to make this look round, and then as I get closer to my highlight, I'm going to lessen pressure. Okay, so that's kind of the graphite way of thinking, that all you have to worry about is value and pressure. The colored pencil way of thinking, can I just rotate that? The colored pencil way of thinking, okay, is that you're going to use more than one color. You're going to rely on more. And I kind of call it the Easter egg effect, and that's called, I'm going to burnish tonight. The Easter egg effect, I think, is whenever you can still see the grain of the paper, which is not what we want. So a lot of people have commented on that they like the style of my colored pencil because it's nice and bold, and that's because I'm pressing really, really hard, and I'm layering, there's multiple layers, and I'll try and show a time-lapse because I think time-lapse has gained popularity because it's interesting to watch, but you don't realize that, you know, this is probably between, I think this is around 4 hours of colored pencil work right here. And so it's tons of layering and building colored pencil. And so that's called burnishing, where you can't see the white of the paper anymore, or in this case, the brown. So I'll show you kind of the difference in thinking. And so I'm going to create a warm colored sphere. And so I'm just going to pull out some red, yellows, and orange. And this is just to show you again the difference in thinking, that it's not graphite. You have to worry more about more than just value. You have to consider more colors. So a lot of artists, they avoid using color until they master value and graphite or charcoal, because it does take a little bit of time to get used to. So I'm going to start here with my red, my darkest valued color. Just kind of lightly blending this. Spheres are the most challenging of the basic geometric forms to draw. You'll notice I'm always going to, this is true with spheres, it's true with hair, I'm always going to blend in the direction of the shape to make it look realistic. Okay, then I'm going to go with my orange. Again, tonight I'm using my 24 pack. This is the pack available at the market. I think it's perfectly fine for coloring in the entire coloring book. You don't necessarily need the huge pack of 48, 72, or 150. You just get some cooler colors as you go. But colored pencil you can still mix with, and I'll show you that tonight. That you're not limited to just these 24 colors. There's a way to kind of expand your color palette, even with dry materials. So just layering over everything with my orange. And if you guys have any questions, if you go ahead and purchase my book this weekend or any of these colored pencils, if you get to experimenting and you have some questions, post them and I'm happy to do another video. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend with my yellow, and I'm not pressing super, obviously not breaking the pencil, but I'm pressing really hard, and what you'll see is my red, orange, and yellow are going to start really filling in the tooth. It's the kind of the grains of that paper. It's going to be one smooth color. Again, if I were to shade this in a straight direction, it's going to look like a circle. Our goal is to make a two-dimensional object, a circle, look like a sphere, something 3D. Okay, this is just real quick, and I would add a shadow and stuff later. Obviously, we're not doing a lesson in just simple geometric forms, but I wanted you to see the difference between kind of that graphite way of thinking, that you only have to consider value, and I want you to kind of transition that train of thought with that you can use multiple colors to create a dynamic image or a three-dimensional image. So what we're going to do now is I am going to partially color this mermaid. And the reason I chose this mermaid, sorry, I'm just refreshing my screen, making sure no one else had any questions. The reason I chose this particular image is that if you look at my postcard or my mermaid original, the watercolor, I used mint in her hair, I used pink, I used some blondish browns, and so I wanted you to have kind of full scope of how to use different colors to create a dynamic image. So what we're going to do, I'm going to start off with, have this facing you. I don't typically color upside down, so I'll try and not mess up. And I forgot to show you my colorless blender, so let me sharpen this and I'll show it to you guys. And I don't think I saw one of these until, I saw one of these my senior year of high school. My friend Tanya in AP Art, she used one of these and I knew I had to have one. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start with let's start with this big curl. So with this big curl, I'm going to do both pinks, some violet, and maybe some browns. And so, just like I showed earlier with my little like jar system, I'm going to set out the colors that I'm going to use. Probably going to use this pink, this lilac color, and then I have, I don't know, like a fuchsia. And so what I like to do is I'll start out on this part of the curl. I usually start with and alternate between my lightest valued color and my darkest valued color. So I'm going to start filling in parts of the curl with the same direction of her hair. And I tested the coloring book the day we received them, and I'm super happy with the quality of paper. With the original colored pencil pieces I have, obviously it's a different texture. This is called bogus paper, and it's 100% recycled. But we chose for a nice thick quality paper for our coloring book, and I think it holds up really nicely to doing any of the techniques that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to just start filling in kind of those darker areas of the curl. And I'm burnishing, which means I'm filling in that surface of the paper and pressing nice and hard and kind of slowly fading it out. I'm sorry, it's difficult to talk and draw, so I usually just pause. Okay, so kind of started off with the darker valued violetish color, that fuchsia. I'm going to mix or switch to this kind of lilac color. I'm not pressing super hard. I'm going to start just lightly going over the surface of everything I just colored. And following the lines of the hair. Okay, and then I'm going to press fairly hard with the pink. And some of the strands I'll go ahead and make a little bit darker. And what Diva and I have talked about, I think our favorite thing about the coloring books is seeing everyone's different color scheme. Like Tiffany, I know you shared a coloring page from volume 1, and I really appreciated your difference in color scheme because I know your color palette is completely different than anything I just wouldn't have chosen or thought of. And same with any of my students. We all, I think, are geared towards a certain color palette or color scheme, just like our clothing. I'm probably more, usually, I'm more of it, like I love mustard and that burnt sienna color. I like wearing those colors. And so I think your color choices, the colors you favor, tend to come out in your colored pencil pieces. So please don't feel like you have to use any of the colors I do. And if you're really stuck, Pinterest, just Google cute color schemes. I guess Pinterest, cute color schemes. Don't Google it in Pinterest. That's not possible. So I'm just going to go back over it with my darker violet. And then the first color I end up using up, like I guess it's easy to guess, is my white. You can see how tiny this one is. And that's because I use it all the time to get highlights or to really lighten up a piece. Okay. So here, just going to go back over some of those areas and lighten them up. So the white has a similar effect to the colorless blender, but the colorless blender wouldn't lighten it. It would just blend the areas, the non-shaded areas of the colored pencil. Okay, let's see. I don't know, maybe I'll add some blue violet in there. I'm just breaking these because I sharpened them right before showing you guys. So right now I'm just using violet. I think next I'll use a couple of browns in the rest of the curl, and then I'll show you some mint. I can also show you some flesh tone. That's probably a question. I think I'll have to flip her over to do that though. Sorry. I don't draw too many faces upside down.
Liam got bored and he went to sleep.
Oh. Our 4-year-old was playing in the background. Our living room is now a huge fort. And he was playing with a flashlight. And now he doesn't like my videos so much.
He's asleep in his room.
What time is it? It's pretty nice and early. Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid parenting right there. Alright, so
So we're asked if, is there any reason you use darker
Oh, that's a really great question. So Aurora, honestly, the reason actually, this will be a quick segue. My very first original to sell on this type of paper was, I think, a set of Extra Tufts, and I did it after the Alaska Chicks Vintage Market. But the real reason I started doing this, and all of my originals from the coloring book were on just plain sketchbook paper. In fact, I can even post, I know I did on Instagram, I just work in a sketchbook for an entire year and I slowly kind of tear out the pages, hand them to Dima, he scans them in. So all of these in the coloring book were originally drawn on sketchbook paper. But I do a circle journal group with my fellow teachers in the district, a bunch of art teachers, some English teachers, and we had to do, each person chooses a theme. It's really cool. Each teacher chooses a theme, and throughout the entire school year we work on a theme and we pass around our sketchbook. And so by the end of the year we ended up with a sketchbook full of someone else's work. And so I went to Freddy's and I bought this paper, and it's bee paper, Aqua Bee. They sell it on Amazon. I know because I just bought a larger sketchbook, and bee paper also makes, this is the bogus paper, the natural. I just bought one with black paper as well. And so this was my theme was Once Upon a Time, fairy tales and folk tales. I love folk tales, especially Japanese folk tales. I'm intrigued by different types of storytelling. And so this was my first piece for the year, and this was my design for my circle journal. And what I discovered is that this natural paper, it doesn't require much of a background, and that's initially why I tried it, because you can kind of leave the background unfinished, whereas on white paper, just like all my watercolors, none of my watercolor girls have a white background. I add a background to them. This natural paper, because it's a darker valued paper, I think the Prismacolors kind of pop off the surface a little bit. It has a really nice brilliancy to it, and you can leave this unfinished without having to have too much of a background. So that was just a recent occurrence, I would say, this year, that I even thought to use a different type of paper. I didn't think they were going to become that popular and that many people would want to purchase them, but it's been really fun. So that was a really good question. Also, Dima and I have talked about this. I really appreciate other artists that don't keep secrets. If you ever have a question of, hey, what color watercolors do you use? Or what kind of paper do you use? I'm going to be really transparent with you, because art is all about sharing the knowledge. So thank you for your questions. So let's go ahead and I'll do brown. And I'll also talk about different skin tones. I know Tiffany pointed out this volume. My first volume was definitely more about my sisters, what I felt comfortable, who I was typically drawing was my sisters, and that's who I drew. And so this coloring book, I really wanted to make it more diverse with some different ethnicities. I think this one is probably most obvious. So I tried to create a little more diversity in this book. And so can you go grab my colored pencil piece that's framed with the cotton candy and stuff in her hair? I created one with a much darker skin tone, and I'll show you the colors I used, because that's going to obviously be different from someone that's more fair-skinned and pale like me. So for the browns, I'm going to use this like dark brown, this burnt umber, a burnt sienna, and then I'll use like this mustard or yellow ochre. So yeah, in my pieces, again, usually they're fair-skinned, because I'm just used to drawing my sisters or me. And so this one I'll show you how to adjust skin tones to what you're drawing or who you're drawing. And I'll show you that. This one is more fair-skinned. Again, I'll just show you how to make that adjustment. That's pretty easy. Okay, so with the browns in the hair, I'm going to go ahead and start again with a darker valued color. And Dima, please let me know if I have a question. This is not loading completely. No.
Sure. Mine updates really regularly.
Also, I wanted to say thank you for all of those all of you that have, like Tiffany, the only reason there is a Galaxy Girl in this coloring book is because Tiffany requested it. I can't say that I'll get to every request, but I really appreciate that, because you guys are going to have ideas that I just don't have, or don't come to think of, maybe forever, or from 10 years from now. So the Galaxy Girl was absolutely one of my favorites, and so I appreciate all of your guys' thoughts. Rochelle, the reason I did the Succulent Girl is my sister Rochelle really wanted a redhead, and so I thought she would be perfect for that. So now I'm going to go ahead and start adding in this lighter brown.
What brand of color, watercolor do you use?
Okay, so the brand of watercolor I use, will you get my crate? I actually use 3, so I would have said, I think the most superior brand is either Winsor Newton, is what I always used, until recently for these little darlings, because I've been really pleased with the selection. These are from Freddy's. Pentel, which is a Japanese brand. I trust all the Japanese. All the Japanese products, especially stationery products. These are awesome. I haven't even used, I don't think I've used up an entire color, and I've painted probably 50 little 4x6 darlings in the past year. They're super potent. I've been super pleased with the brilliancy of the color. And if you get cheaper watercolors, I think these were maybe 20 some bucks. If you get cheaper watercolors, they start to like separate as they dry or crack off the paper. These have been really great. And Winsor Newton, which is what I used all throughout college, those are upwards of regularly like $20 for a little tube. I think the most expensive color I purchased was $40, and that was like an Opera Rose. And then I'm sure some of you are wondering about the really cool, it looks like makeup, but the shiny colors I use, these are called Fine Tech, and I purchased them from, I've tagged them in all my Instagram photos when I use them. I order them directly from the company in Germany, and they have mica in them, which gives them that sheen. They're really, really awesome. So that's what I use in terms of my like shiny pieces. Yep. Do you have another question or anything? And now I'm going to go over this, burnish this with my like yellow ochre. And I'll try and get a better shot. I know I didn't use the colorless blender yet. The colorless blender isn't necessary. In fact, I haven't used them in any of the original colored pencils I've done so far, because I don't know, I've just used more colors. But if you're doing a larger colored pencil piece, I think they're really, really great. Okay, so here's some brown. If you wanted it more blonde, what I would have used is maybe like a bright yellow instead of the yellow ochre. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch to, I don't know, something that's mint. I'll do a mint curl. I'll make this one mint. So for the green, again, this color palette, I love the colored pencils in this 24 pack because I think there are plenty of neutral browns, there are plenty of yellows and oranges. It was really well done. I don't think there's one color I would switch out and kind of use a different, I really like them. So I'm going to use this green, which is just apple green, and a mint green, and then I might go over it with definitely white and my dark green. Okay, so I'm going to just do this little curl right here. So anywhere the ribbon is, I'm going to do a little bit darker underneath. Also, we haven't posted recipes on our blog in like a year. Initially, when I bought the domain for the Cozy Mozy, which we'll have to tell the story one day, it was because I just wanted a baking blog.
You can tell the story.
Okay, so my mother-in-law Olga, it was her 50th birthday, and Dima was just, we were all hanging out with his sisters, and he's like, we're just a brilliant family.
Well, I had
You did. I didn't.
Um,
He did. And he's just so happy. And he's like, we're just a brilliant family. We should, the Cozy Mozy. He just thought of this, I thought a cute name, the Cozy Mozy. So what he didn't realize is I take things seriously. And so a week later, he came home and I was like, I bought a domain. We have the Cozy Mozy. I had to buy it. And so he freaked out for about 5 minutes, like, just go and buy a domain. And then he went into the office and, I don't know, a day later, had a really, or less later, had a really cool, had the our cute little hedgehog, and there we go. We had a cute website.
It all fell into place.
Yeah, but I would say I definitely focused more last year on food. But if you don't know my story, I switched to like primarily Whole30 meals last year due to some allergies. And so that's kind of, I don't know, led to more experimenting in the kitchen, but less of the food side of things. We made an amazing meal today. It's like a Whole30 pizza breakfast bake. So that's going on the blog. So if you ever check our blog, I know I have not posted any recent foods. We are going to have a cool recipe up next week, just so you guys know. It was delicious. Okay, sorry. Now I'm going over things with this apple green. And then I'll use this mint green. Again, I've enjoyed colored pencils. I painted 12 little darlings for this market, 12 in a row. And that was kind of exhausting after I finished the 12th one. And so I was totally ready to switch back to colored pencil, and that's kind of how I work. It's kind of fun to go in between the two types of mediums. During the school year, I'll work on, I typically ink the darlings before I paint them, and try and do the watercolor, like the background in one sitting and then the faces in one sitting. With the colored pencil, I think my favorite part about it is no matter what time of day, like, it's not a huge setup because I have my little jar system, and so have my colors out and they're dry, dump my pencil shavings, and I can move on. It's really relaxed. This has been the most therapeutic summer I think I've ever had as a teacher because I've focused on...
Trish is watching. Trish.
Hi Trish, I love you. I've focused on drawing, I would say, and painting 90% of the summer. We're homebodies here at the Cozy Mozy. We don't go out much.
I'm not even wearing pants right now.
Okay, stop. Shut up. He lives in his pajamas. Alright, so there's some green. Right. Okay, before I move on to the face, is there anything else you guys wanted to see? Would it help to see? Maybe I'll do a little goldfish. I'll do one of those. And let me know if there's anything else you want to see. Okay, goldfish. I'll do one of these. For the goldfish, I'm going to whip out my orange, my favorite color in the world, the yellow orange. And yellow. I don't know if you guys follow Crayola news. I don't typically, but my favorite Crayola color, just write it down. My favorite Crayola color was dandelion yellow, and they retired the color. I don't purchase things on eBay, but I think I bought like a pack of 12 just because they were retiring my favorite color. I'm never going to use them, but this color right here, that's my favorite. Alright, so I'm going to do a goldfish. And what I'm going to do to get the texture of kind of the scales is I'm going to work with tiny little circles. It's called scumbling. And I'll talk more. Again, let me know what you guys want in the future. I teach for a living, so this is my passion. So if you guys are interested in me doing more of these, maybe a watercolor one, let me know. Anything specific would not bother me one bit. In fact, it might get me a little more prepared for my school year. in 3.5 weeks. So I'm just kind of going over the darker areas of a fish. I hope this is turning out nicely. It's upside down. It's also good practice in, I guess, coloring. Okay, then I'm going to use my golden yellow, what Crayola would call the dandelion yellow. Just doing scumbles. And then I'm going to burnish it with the yellow. So I'm just filling in all of the white, making sure there's no white remaining, and that's what's going to give it that real brilliant color. And again, our goal for this coloring book was that you'd want to hang your finished pieces, and what I've seen, a lot of people create some gorgeous things. So our realtor is also our neighbor, Maria, and her daughter bought one, or she bought one for her daughter. Her daughter's like in kindergarten, she didn't buy it. And she has been she's been coloring them and giving them away, and I just love that.
Sarah wants the ribbon, please.
Okay.
Tiffany asks, how do you decide the best way to color odd shapes like directions of stroke and shading?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Roseanne Perkins says hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining in.
Will you save this on your page so I can show it to my daughter later? Sarah Lockwood asks.
Yes, all of our live videos remain on our page. And that's what I wanted. I know, Tiffany, I'm sorry we had to do it today. I don't know if you heard at the beginning. We wanted to do it tomorrow, but we're setting up the market, and we wanted everyone to at least be able to see this in practice before deciding whether you wanted to purchase or not. So this is all for your benefit. Yes, I would like you to get Prismacolors because they're just the best in the world, but that's not the primary goal of this video. I just want you guys to feel confident in this. So everything we have, we're not going to share secrets. We put all of our information on our Facebook page, so we'll totally leave this up. I will not delete it.
And Aurora said she would love to see some watercolor.
Okay, perfect. If you can comment down below if you are interested in seeing a watercolor video, go ahead and tell me what days work best for you. I go back to work in 3.5 weeks, so I'd love to do it before then. But Dima and I are really committed to making sure that we keep up the momentum. We want to support all of our fans. And so I'm committing to at least working on the Cozy Mozy art 1 hour a day during the school year. And so I will definitely keep the live videos going if there's something that interests you during the school year. So I'm going to use this red-orange just in some of the dark areas. And Tiffany, I think what I'll do is the ribbon will make sense with just the directional of the strokes. I think the bow itself might clear up some of your question in terms of, yeah, how do you figure out what direction to fill in an odd shaped shape. Okay, so again, these are like tiny little circles. It's called scumbling, just to give the little texture of the fish scales. And if you just joined in, I'm showing you the pack of 24 that we will have available at the market. We are selling it for half the price of Michael's or Joann's. We purchased them with hope that more people would have access to them a little bit cheaper. So I'm just using this.
Asks, would you ever consider doing an older darling with a grandchild theme?
That's a really good idea. Thank you for typing that in, Trish. I totally appreciate all of the ideas. My sister was the one that requested that we do the fish in her hair, and it ended up, I made it look like her as well. So that's the salmon girl.
Trish, would you like to model?
Trish, do you want to be my model? Is that what you're asking? Tell me what she says. So I used a little blue in the eye. But I think that's a great idea, Trish. We really want it. This book is a little more diverse than our original. We even got we break gender barriers. I have Liam the lion in this one. We have one male darling in this one. And I have some different ethnicities as well. So my goal is to keep expanding in the diversity of the book. So yes, we can make a beautiful older woman if you would like. So we had the request for the ribbon. What else, hon?
That's it.
Okay, the ribbon is just green. Let's make it a fun color. First person to write it down wins. What color do you want the ribbon? Don't say brown. That's lame. That's a bad choice. But you can do brown if you want. Anyone write a color? What color should we do the ribbon?
Purple.
Okay.
Lavender. We got purple, lavender, red.
I'm gonna do a whole mirage of, we'll do this. Is that good? I'll try and get them all in there. There you go. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with the ribbon part. With my 6th graders, I actually do a whole lesson on ribbons and value. If you want to learn how to get better at drawing value, totally, we can work on that sometime too. Whole great lesson in value. So it's going to be darker in this area because
Trish says I would do anything for you, so
all right.
I think she would model it.
Okay.
I think she'd be your model.
So
we'll hold you up to that, or what is it? How's the saying go?
I don't know. I forget so many things in the summer. I don't remember anything anymore.
And Alyssa says orange.
Man, that's a good choice. Alyssa, we'll color an orange ribbon together. I feel bad. Okay. This is going to be darker underneath here because the top of the bow is covering it, and then where it twists, it's also going to be darker. So what I'm going to do is, and Tiffany, this might help to you understand the odd-shaped thing. Rather than shading the length of the ribbon, you're actually going to shade the width so that it looks, it's going to look more natural that way. If we did it like this, it's going to look really choppy. So what I'm going to do is and I'm sorry, I know that people like ombre is it's ombre. It's actually called a gradient in the art world. Sorry, that's my little middle school rant. We're going to produce a gradient with this. So I'm going to press dark and then gradually get lighter. And so whenever we go to add our lighter valued colors, it's going to look like a nice smooth transition. I'm going to start dark.
How do you spell ombre?
O-M-B-R-E.
O-M-B?
Mm-hmm. Ombre. Okay, same with this. Maybe we'll do a little bit of red down there. I'm going to try and get all these colors in. Okay, so then we're just going to keep using a lighter valued violet. But not completely shading it in yet, and then just gradually lessen the pressure.
Tiffany was wondering about the starfish because it has 5 points.
Okay.
So that's why.
I can even do that for you if you'd like, just so you can see how I'd tackle it.
Brietta just joined.
Hey Brietta. Thanks for joining in. It's kind of interesting. Trish would relate. Trish is also a teacher. My class is never this quiet. So thank you guys for raising your hands and typing your question out. I'm just kidding. No, what I usually do is if students, I really want all my students to be successful in art, even if they don't think they like art at first. My goal is that everyone walks away liking it. And I always have them write on the board, and I'll do a one-on-one demo for them. This is fun for me, so ask away.
Which says neither is mine.
Okay, so let's use pink. That's got quite a few colors going on there. Maybe darken it up around the edges, just 'cause. Okay, so I met 2 people's requests. It's both violet and pink. Okay, now I'll do the top of the bow.
Just real quick, honey.
Yes.
I just did this photo.
Thank you. And I'm just going to, this is the shadow of the bow, the inside, so it's going to be a little darker. And press dark and then gradually get lighter. If you're really lacking confidence in this, I would totally practice drawing or coloring basic geometric shapes on blank paper. Before I let my students color anything, we do a whole demo of, first we create a color wheel together using burnishing techniques, and we work on geometric forms, just because I want everyone to feel confident. So I know some people, I'm like this too. If I buy like a new notebook, you know, my handwriting has to be gorgeous in it and I have to think about what I want to put in it. Same with a coloring book. Like, you don't want to, everyone kind of has that feeling, I don't want to ruin it. You're not going to ruin it. But if it makes you feel any better, you know, practice on a piece of paper first before coloring. And I think, I didn't tell you this, Dima, I think what we should do, and tell me if you guys are interested, I would love to do another giveaway for like a sticker or a few stickers or a set of stickers, coloring contest, and have people vote.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Tell me what you guys think. If you buy a coloring book this weekend, would you want to be part of a coloring book contest? Any darling of your choice. I think it would be awesome. And I wouldn't vote, because that's mean. I'd have everyone else vote. And we'd have some cool prize. Okay, I'm going to use my pink. Alright, so there's a bow. Let me do the starfish, and then I'll move on the face. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to see. Okay, so the starfish, I'll do it like a blues. That's a good idea. You can see down below I'm totally mixing up my rainbow. I'm not a... yeah. It's never going to stay like that ever again. I did it for you guys. Also, we're eco-friendly, so all the pencil shavings are recycled. That's not true. We throw it away. We throw them away. Actually, Liam does. I'm too lazy to do that, I guess. He enjoys it. Okay, so Tiffany, for the starfish, what I would recommend doing, I'm gonna use this violet blue. I'm gonna start in the center and then gradually get lighter. Okay, and then anywhere where it gets really, really tight, I'm gonna treat that like it's gonna be a darker value. So same with this. It's gonna get darker and then gradually get lighter. You guys have a lot of really great questions. Thank you. What's that? Okay, so...
Is yours showing up on your feet or not?
It's like a good 20 seconds behind, I think.
No, it's like... I don't know about that. Definitely not.
Okay, so I started with that dark blue violet. I'm going to work my way down to the lighter blues. Kind of following the same parts, but then around the edge, I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit lighter too. or sorry, a little bit darker. And kind of have it radiate out. And colored pencils, they don't erase. However, Dima and I found an eraser, and I don't even have it anymore. I don't know where it is. We found an eraser at Joann's last year, and it has like sand in it a little bit. There's a little bit of sand in it. It's a Japanese brand. Like I said, I trust the Japanese with all their stationery products. I don't think, it wasn't Tombow, but it sounded like Tom something, and it actually erases colored pencil. You can partially erase it, but not if you've burnished it. It's gonna be kind of rough, and it might damage the paper, so it might take you a little while to get a little confident with it. So Tiffany, what I'm going to do now is where this point meets, I'm just kind of drawing in a line so it looks like it's a little bit darker in that crease. Right, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill in these center bits. Oops. And then why don't I was going to use white because I just like it, but I'm going to use a colorless blender just to show you guys. So again, I don't like any of the white of my paper showing, so what I'm going to use is this colorless blender. I won't have any of these for sale. Yeah, I won't have any of these for sale at the market. I haven't bought them in bulk or anything, but I know you can buy them online. Or you can go to, well, Target had this pack. Whoops. And so this pack, I can't remember if it was $15 or $17, maybe it was $13. It was I don't know, it was an odd number. It comes with a pencil sharpener from Germany, but it's made in China. I don't know. That's interesting. But a nice metal pencil sharpener. It came with the colored pencil extender, which has been a brilliant tool. That's the whole reason I bought this package. Came with an ebony pencil, which does not mix with colored pencils, but it's the darkest graphite pencil you're going to find. This is like a clear marker for blending, not for colored pencil. Comes with an eraser and a kneaded eraser. Not to be confused with chewing gum. It's one of those stretchy ones. And then it came with the colorless blender. So if you're into all of the graphite or marker, I think it's worth it. I just really wanted this pencil extender because no one likes drawing with a little nub. And it also comes with this. So, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go along my strokes. And you can see all it does, it's like a clear pencil. All it does is it blends together the value I put down without really lightening it. But it makes the tooth of the paper, it kind of fills in that tooth of the paper and blends the two colors together. Again, without adding any color. So, still keeps that vibrance. Okay, any other questions about that? What else did we want? I was going to show the face. I don't know if anyone wants anything else. For the face, I am going to turn her around. I'm not going to do the entire face, I'll probably do about half of it. But I'll also show you some different color skin tones. Let me see. You can even scumble in for a cool texture for the sea star or starfish. And if you saw any of my work before the vintage market, the last one, you would know that I don't typically do anything like this neon or vibrant, but I accidentally, with my Pentel watercolors that are so awesome, I got mixed up between the violet I used and the red violet, and so it ended up being super vibrant, but it was kind of a happy accident. So, been experimenting a little more outside my comfort zone. It's been pretty fun. Alright, so there's that. Any objections for me before I move on to the face? Okay, I'm sorry I have to turn around for this. Okay, so for the face, and again, I'm going to start with I'm going to do a flesh tone that's a little more pale, like the original, but I will tell you the colors you can use to get some nice, beautiful, deep skin tones as well. And it's kind of just adding in a few extra darker neutrals. So for fair skin, I use this brown. It's like a sienna brown, a burnt sienna. That's the darkest brown I use. I have a peach. When I was a kid, Crayola came with apricot and peach crayons. It really angered me. I'd do the apricot and it's like trying to draw myself and it was like, you know, orange tan. Ugh, this is really sad. That's all. Just reminiscing. Okay, pink, they don't fool you here. And white. So those are the colors I use for a fair skin tone. Now, what I do for a darker skin tone, I'll show you right here. I just use the darker brown. And so what I do here, I'm going to show you, I'm going to start off with this burnt sienna for kind of the shadow, like right on her forehead, where her hair follows. With this one, I don't even know if I didn't use much burnt sienna at all. I used this dark brown, and if you wanted to go even darker, this is the darkest brown in the box, but if you buy a larger set of colored pencils, they have dark umber, they have sepia, which gets into those really beautiful dark browns. But I use this one primarily, and I still use a little bit of burnt sienna, and the peach is what kind of pokes through with touches of pink for, I don't know if you guys can see it very well, I don't know, and is there a glare? I used a touch of pink on her lips, but more of that peach. I just use a lot more of that brown, the dark brown. Okay, so what I'm going to do, again, the reason we chose the mermaid tonight is because with a lot of my darlings, I don't use natural hair colors. I have been adding in more of the mint green, the pinks, and violets. And so I wanted to show you kind of a mix of natural colors as well as some cool, I guess, dyed colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start fairly light, and I'm only going to do about half the face. When I draw my darling faces, they usually take 1.5 episodes of Suits or Dawson's Creek. So that's like an hour and a half. I've watched so many 90s dramas. I went through, I didn't even they weren't even on my list of, wow, this sounds really great. They were just on when I was a kid and I skipped past them. So I watched Dawson's Creek. What else did I watch? Party of Five? What else?
Ambrosia.
No, that's not even.
Felicity.
Felicity, Ambrosia. That's a fruit salad.
That should be a name.
From the side.
That's totally
Ambrosia.
a 90s sitcom.
Yeah, Ambrosia. And I'm into...
I'm going to call NBC.
So what I want you guys to do while I'm watching, I really hope I don't annoy you guys too much, write down a good show to watch. Because I'm kind of stuck right now. I'm watching a law show right now. But I'm getting sick of the lawsuits. They're not that exciting. Yeah. So write down some good...
We have our own recommendations too.
We do. I can't wait for Stranger Things Season 2.
Yep.
And Tiffany, I fell in love with you even more after you posted the cool shirt that you got about she had the lights. Oh, and yeah. Oh man, I love Stranger Things. Okay, sorry. So in the darker areas, I'm going to add just a little bit of the burnt sienna. And in watercolor, you sometimes mask things off if you don't want them to be colored in. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to color in her fish scales green, that mint green, so that I don't affect that too much.
Tiffany can't wait for season 2.
Oh man,
it's going to be great.
Tiffany, we watched it in exactly one day and one morning.
We went to the state fair. We got interrupted by the state fair because we got free tickets.
We found out and we were like, Rochelle spent the night. We watched all of season 1 except for one episode, and my sweet friend Carla was like, we have an extra 3 tickets to the fair. Do you want to go? And I was like, how are you guys feeling? They're like, yeah, but we have to finish when we get back. So we watched it in exactly 1.5 days. It was awesome.
It felt a little like an inconvenience to go, you know?
It was intense. My mom was kind of like bashing it for the first couple of episodes, and then she fell in love with it too, which I think it's a cool show. Anyway, so sorry, I did the mint green plus the white. My phone's over here. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay, and then a few of her other spots are like fuchsia and pink. So I'll go ahead and fill those in. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is on her eye, you don't have to put, I'm not forcing anyone to wear makeup, you don't have to do eyeshadow, but in the watercolor I did mint. So I think I'm going to do this one though, I'm going to do a little bit of pink. So just around the surface of her eyelid. I think I live vicariously through my darlings because I don't do hair. Ever. I just put gel in my hair or some, I don't know, curly stuff in my hair. And I don't do much makeup, so I just kind of live through them. Okay, so there's just a little bit. Some of colored pencils is a bit of kind of slowly layering things. Then I will tell you usually how I work is I kind of start at the top and I work my way around, but again it takes me a good 1.5 hours, so I'm just going to do a little bit for you guys so you can see at least partially. Okay, and so this is where totally don't even contour my face, but this is where any knowledge of makeup, Tiffany, Alyssa, if you're still watching, this is where you guys are going to dominate, because it's all about kind of working with the form of your face. I'm going to fill in her eyebrow. And now I'm going to layer a little bit darker with the peach. And this is where I constantly start layering between. She's good. Oh, good. Sorry, if you guys follow me on my actual Facebook page, I have a friend that was going through surgery and over 100 people praying for her. Everything went well, which that's a truly such a blessing. I'm so happy right now.
Okay, let me catch you up here.
Okay.
Do you watch Once Upon a Time and Marathon Stranger Things 2?
I watch, who said that?
Tiffany.
Tiffany, I watched, when it first started out, I was following you and watching it. I think I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I get so far behind on things that I just stop, because I'm so far behind. Like, when I was in Juneau all by myself, I watched Pretty Little Liars. And then I never watched it again. Because it just, I don't know, I've watched Nashville. You hate that show.
I hate that show.
I forward past most of the singing, too. Because I just like stories. What else about Grey's Anatomy? That's my jam.
Ugh.
I love Grey's Anatomy. Sorry. Now I'm just adding peach. Or good movies. I need good movies too, because I give every movie I watch on Amazon. I have Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Netflix I give every movie about 30 seconds. If it doesn't catch my attention, I turn it off. We've watched quite a few Korean films, right?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, The Tunnel, I was
thinking about The Tunnel the other day.
And Tiffany was the one, Tiffany and I watched Suicide Club, the Japanese movie, when we were in high school. So I do like your perspective, Tiffany, on foreign films.
Mirror Mask is her favorite movie.
Okay.
We watched, what was the one with the nuclear reactor?
Oh, I don't know. I think I was partially sleeping, honey. Did I watch it all? No, it was so sad. It was really sad. What was that Chinese film you watched? We watched together. It was on YouTube, actually.
Oh,
that was really emotional.
Summer, winter, it was like fall, summer.
That was really emotional.
Fall, winter, spring, summer, something like that.
Okay, and then, is that called the Cupid's bow? Yeah, I'm going to fill that in. So I'm just really slowly building this up. Because the face, and I don't know why, I save the toughest part for last. For me, the face is kind of make it or break it, you know. And so my darlings, I don't know why I save it for last. And I get the most stressed out. So I very slowly build it up. And what I usually do is I look at, for this one, I was like, Googled redhead. Just so I can, what color is it? That's what I usually do. Or I'll look up a picture of Alyssa or Rochelle so I can see just faces and where I should put the shadows. Any other recommendations? Going in with that burnt sienna again. Start using a little bit of pink on the lips. So you may notice that I don't really outline the lips. If I were to outline the lips in microns, it's going to look like lip liner all the way around. Like, it's really difficult to make them look nice and natural after that. So you'll notice that in my coloring books, I don't really outline the lips so much. So you can make it more of a natural transition from the lips to the flesh. And then in the cheek.
Tiffany recommended The Fall, which we have seen.
The Fall.
Yeah. X-Files lady.
Oh, yeah. That was intense. We didn't even finish it. We had 2 more.
Sarah suggests Snow Queen.
I haven't even... Snow Queen. Ask her... So, Sarah, is that a foreign film? Is that a show? And if so, where do I watch it?
We're really big fans of Netflix originals.
Oh,
and
man.
There's a few Travelers is coming out.
Travelers was awesome. Redemption. What was that? No, Rectify. Oh, that was...
I don't like how it ended.
I know. I'm really intrigued. I've always been intrigued by, like, what is it? Prison Wives and On Death. I don't know. Prison, because I'm such a good citizen and I'm never going to end up in prison. I'm just so...
Snow Queen was a made-for-TV Hallmark movie.
Oh, okay. I'm totally checking this list out later, you guys, I promise. I've always been intrigued by prisons around the world, how prisoners are treated in other countries, what a prison looks like in other countries. And so, Rectify, that was hard. That was a tough show. So you'll notice in my flesh tones, I'm kind of scumbling a little bit more. Again, that's... Tiffany, you asked a really great question in terms of, like, if it's not a solid shape, what direction? That's where I do more of that scumbling. And that's that tiny little circles. That way, there aren't any harsh lines.
Chris said, I love Masterpiece Theater on PBS. Don't get us started on Downton Abbey.
Oh my gosh. That's so good.
But we should watch more, because there's a lot of stuff that kind of intrigues me. So.
Trish, I could never teach English because I couldn't read everyone's essays, but my favorite... I'd probably just give everyone A's.
Horribly written essays.
Yeah. But my favorite version of any Jane Austen film is the BBC version. I love Colin Firth's version of... oh my gosh, I just forgot. Anyway, Colin Firth and anything. I like all of the BBC originals for...
Sherlock, we love Sherlock.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one.
The PBS, or not the PBS, but the...
oh, are you talking...
With...
Cumberbatch?
Cumberbatch, yeah. Cumberbuns, Cucumber, La Cucaracha, what's his name?
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, Cumberbatch. Okay, so I said it right?
Yeah. No, I said it right. You just kept...
Oh. I'm going to recommend a movie that was made by NBC with the affiliated with Jim Henson Studios, made in the 90s. It's the Gulliver's Travels with Ted Danson. If you guys ever want to be blown away by what the 90s could do, look that up, because that is one of my favorite movies. Ted Danson does such a great job, and Jim Henson Studios, for the time, they did an incredible job with just about everything there. Check it out. Gulliver's Travels, the Ted Danson version. Amazing. I hope they heard that, because the mic is aimed at you. And
oh, I'm sorry. It's funny.
It probably sounds really muffled.
You're sounding emotional, like, I love Ted Danson.
Yeah, Ted Danson is so good.
Let's see, we watched all of Parks and Rec last year.
Oh.
Ron Swanson. Just gonna say that.
Trish is headed to bed.
Trish,
have a good night.
Have a good night.
I love that version of Gulliver's Travels, she said. Yeah. Loud and clear. Good.
Okay, oh, sorry. So now I'm going in with a darker, this is Poppy Red, just for a little more color on your lips. And now I'm going to use some white. To burnish. Again, if you use white to burnish, which is what I typically do, it's going to add a softness to the piece. I'll also show you, I'll go ahead and show you the colorless blender with the eye. Maybe I'll add a little bit of violet in the eye, just to show you the difference. I don't know if it'll pick it up on camera. Those of you watching, has anyone used Prismacolors? If so, what are your thoughts on them? Promise we don't get paid by Prismacolor. They're just my favorite in the world. In fact, I just ordered another pack of 150 because I really like them.
Oh, never mind. Prismacolors just asked to sponsor.
Yeah, whatever.
We wish.
Free Prismacolors for life? Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going back in with my burnt sienna to add a little bit more value around the edges. Tiffany, I want to see your versions of these darlings with your makeup skills. I think you're going to create some amazing things. Okay, let me use a colorless blender on the eye. Just let me scribble off the blue so she doesn't look like she has a black eye. And again, I'm just scumbling it in so it looks natural. Maybe a little bit more color in the eye. Okay, if no one has any other requests, I think we're about done. If you would like to see anything else, I don't have work tomorrow, so let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably go finish the succulent darlings, and we'll prep for setting up tomorrow. We're setting up at the Vintage Market tomorrow.
We can probably try to go live at the Vintage Market.
Yes. Our goal is to, I know Tanya, I don't think Tanya's on right now, but Tanya lives out of state, and so she wanted to see, at least see the vintage market. We're going to go live just so you can see our booth. We have some adorable little signage and all of our stickers and everything ready. What I would also do is obviously finish the face, and then the neck, because your head sits on top of your neck, it's going to cast a shadow, so it'll be a little darker. Again, what I would do differently if I wanted to do a darker skin tone. Where did I just stick all my colored pencils that I just used? All in here? Yeah. Shows you how used to my jar system I am. Anyway, what I would do is rather than using the burnt sienna for the shadow, I would use this dark brown. And I'd work it up the same way. I would just use a lot less peach, a lot more brown, and then a little bit of burnt sienna to get those darker values. Please, before we log off, please tell me what you would like to see next time. Aurora said she wanted to see watercolor. I'm totally up for doing a watercolor one. If you'd like to see a darker skin tone next time, I can totally make that happen. I don't know, as you purchase this book, kind of quickly go through. If you saw our live video earlier this week, there might be some things that you have questions about as we go, or as you go through the book, in terms of which darling you want to see, like, yeah, and maybe doing knit fabric is challenging. I don't know. Any questions you guys end up having, let me know, because I'm totally up for doing another demo. If you aren't sure how to do, like, the jar or flowers, anything at all, let me know. Yeah, and these are going to be at the market on Saturday and Sunday. We really do hope you stop by. We're super excited. This is the first market for Dima to be a part of. Dima's going to be there with me on Saturday, and Rochelle, my sister, is going to be there with me on Sunday. And it's, if you got a VIP ticket, and Tiffany, that one is totally you. If you got a VIP ticket, they were $25. I think you probably still purchase them. That gets you in the door at 8 a.m., 8 to 9, before everyone else. At 9, I believe it's 9 to 5 on Saturday, and then 11 to 4 on Sunday, so the market is open. It's $5 on Saturday to get in. It's free on Sunday. And I told you guys earlier this week, if you are wanting, especially I know we're going to have enough coloring books. I hope we'll be fine on coloring books, except for volume 1. If you've waited to get a volume 1, I would do so now. Saturday, you might be fine on Sunday. We only have about, I want to say, a little less than 50 copies left. If you are wanting any of my original colored pencil girls, my colored pencil darlings, come on Saturday, because I know quite a few people have shown interest in these. So come and get those. We have over 20 watercolor darlings available. I think I have 22 still available. I'm going to try and get both of these succulent darlings. My goal is to have these done for the market. They are going to get done. I'll stay up all night if I have to. They're going to be great.
Show them again.
Yeah. Let's find, well, I'll show you guys the original one. And if any of you are interested in this paper, they have these for sale at Fred Meyer. I don't remember how much. I want to say like $14. And this paper is called, the brand is B paper. I think it's 100% recycled. And it's called, what kind of paper? It's a bogus paper. Right. And it comes in this color. This is the only color they have at Fred Meyer. I know they also make white paper, and I just bought a black one as well. So stay tuned. Our future vintage markets, I don't know, perhaps I'll have some of these darlings on black paper. What I showed you guys that we're using today, I think I have 11 packs for sale with any coloring book that you want. It's $40 for the coloring book plus this pack of 24. It does not come with a color pencil sharpener, but it comes with all of the colors that I used tonight. I wanted to make sure you guys saw those. I think you can do amazing things with the set of 24. No, I lost colors as we went. Really bad at my jar system. So I think the pack of 24 is perfect for starting out. As you guys, I don't know, feel them out, see how you like them, I would recommend eventually maybe moving on to the 48. The 150, I didn't really show that off too much. I haven't even opened this. I haven't used all of these ones. They have 3 neon ones. I'm not really into metallic colored pencils. I think they look kind of dull. They do have a couple metallics. I totally have colored pencil in my fingernail. Sorry, that's gross. But they have a lot of like the pastel colors, the creamy colors. I told you before I use all of the white, my white little nub. White is the first one I use up. And so what I do like about the pack of like 132 is that I start using in my, I'll even show this one, in this darling, in the ice cream, I don't even think I used white, I used like a cream color. And same with my succulents. I didn't use white, I used this green called Pale Sage, which is like super mint green. And so there are a lot more of those really pale colors that extend my white. But pack of 24 will be available on Saturday. I really want to thank you guys for tuning in. We had a lot of fun, and now I have more things to Hulu, Netflix, and binge, or Amazon Prime. Let me know what day works best for you guys, if this time works best. We figured 6 p.m. most people are off work by then.
Comment below.
Yeah, comment below. We would happily do this again. So thanks for joining in. We hope to see you guys on Saturday and or Sunday. Have a great weekend. And I think there are 5 food trucks, just saying.